back to Cherry City Punch. We appreciate you welcoming us back into your home. We welcome you into our studio.
We're
here.
excited about today's show. We have a couple of guests for you. We have Jeff Racy from...
Okay, that's not his name.
Why can I not remember that guy's name?
Jason Ramey, and he is from KMUZ
Okay,
Radio.
stop. We're cutting that. Cut. I cannot remember that guy's name.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Jason Ramey.
Jason Ramey, I'll do it.
From Geekly. I know it now. Jason.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to this week's episode of Cherry City Punch. We're excited to be back in your living room, and we're down here sitting on the streetscape of Salem.
Yes. Excited about today's
Yeah,
guest.
we have Jason Ramey from KMUZ's radio show called Geekly Update, where they
Yes.
talk about all things geeky.
It's great.
I've been on that show, actually.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot of fun. Although I'll tell you that when I was on the show, I was promoting CET, and then they kind of got me into the discussion of the geekly topics for that week, and they were topics I didn't know anything about, so I had to pretend that I knew about them. So I think that was the new Mad Max movie had just come out, or
So you were
something
trying
like
to
that.
pretend
So
to
I was
be a geek.
trying. No, I mean I didn't. I was trying my best to act like I knew. Oh no, it was the new Terminator movie had just come out.
Oh, okay.
And so I was acting my best to at least pretend like I knew something about the Terminator
about
movies.
pop culture.
And then I was able to turn the discussion onto other geeky things that I did understand.
You know, if he would have asked you about a Whoopi Goldberg movie, then I think you would have been right in on the discussion.
Okay. Heather and her husband Brian had never seen the Whoopi Goldberg epic called The Associate, where Whoopi Goldberg
That very well-known movie.
plays an old white man on Wall Street. She's disguised because the only way she can get ahead in life is to dress as an old white man. Anyway, long story short, it's a really good movie.
I didn't finish it.
Okay, if it was Whoopi Goldberg, I would have been able to participate in that discussion. What I was able to turn the discussion to was my lack of understanding in what Jason will bring up in our interview later, which is not understanding the histories of the comic book characters. Like,
Yes.
there's so many different versions of like Spider-Man and Superman and all of those things, and I
confusing.
didn't get those, and so I was able to kind of take the discussion that way.
Well, it sounds like you need to watch his show.
You listen
Or
to it 'cause it's
listen
on the
to a
radio,
show,
yeah.
yeah.
So aside
On the
from
radio.
Jason Ramey, we are going to have Karina Lemons,
Yes.
who is the executive director of Salem Kaiser Education Foundation,
Yes.
and she is going to be here to talk about
An
the
event that's coming up.
Shooting for the Stars auction, which is a joint fundraising event for Salem Kaiser Education Foundation and Law Enforcement for Youth. And Law Enforcement for Youth provides scholarships for underserved kids to do events during the school year and during the summer, so that at-risk youth have a positive activity to do, because many of them are kind of left to their own devices as far as being taken care of,
Yeah.
especially during those off times where there's not school. So those are going to be some exciting interviews.
Yes, I'm excited to learn more about both of those events. We do have some community calendar items. So this is your last weekend to catch Marry Me a Little, Verona Studios production of Marry Me a Little. They're going to be this Friday the 8th and also the 9th. And keep in mind there's also a matinee on the 9th, and otherwise the performances are going to be at 8 p.m. Matinee is at 2 p.m. And
They have beautiful voices. I was blown away.
yeah, I'm starstruck by both of them. They're amazing. We still have Urinetown opening soon, the 15th.
April 15th.
At the Pinnacle Theater, Shakespeare in the Market. I didn't get a chance to check it out on the 1st, but it's going to be every Saturday in April. So you want to head over to the Saturday market. There's going to be performances at 10 and 11:30, also at 1 and 2. It's going to be in the community markets gathering area. It's going to be excerpts from
I
Shakespeare.
have to admit, I've actually never been to the Salem Saturday Market.
Well, you're going to need to go, so you
I
can
will
check
try to
that
get
out.
over there.
And also, be sure to get your tickets to Salem Philharmonia's performances April 22nd and 23rd. They're performing Mendelssohn's Symphony No. 4. And then we'll hear more about the Shooting for the Stars auction that's coming up on the 16th.
And there's also, I think, currently still signups going on for the Awesome 3000, which is another SCEF fundraiser that we can ask Karina about. But I have a feeling that's not until May 7th. So I think a non-cultural event, but a community event Awesome 3000 is a run for kids in elementary and middle school, so that would be something people could also sign up for. We could ask Screen about that.
Yeah, and also be sure to sign up if you are interested in auditioning for The Wizard of Oz. Remember that you need to contact them. They're by appointment only. Adults, it's April 21st and 22nd, and children, April 24th. It runs the 24th of June through July 14th, so be sure to check out their website for more details. We also have auditions for a Pinnacle Theater production, The Aliens, which is going to be at 1 p.m. on April 30th.
All right, well, let's get to our interview with Jason Ramey from KMUZ's talk show Geekly Update. Okay, welcome back. This is Jason Ramey from KMUZ Radio and the show Geekly Update. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're excited. So I've been on the Geekly Update, and so this is a little bit of our cross promotion
Yes,
here with
cross-pollination.
yeah. So with KMUZ, which is our community access radio.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit maybe about what is KMUZ
Sure.
for people that don't know, and what station it's on, and then tell us about your show Geekly Update and
Sure.
kind of what you guys talk about.
So KMUZ is a community radio. It's on, you can tune in the old-fashioned dial to 88.5 FM or 100.7 FM, or you can go to kmuz.org and stream it live. There's a stream live button. And you can also get the TuneIn radio app on your phone. And it's basically just run by all volunteers. And it's for everybody in the community gets together. Well, not everybody, but people that volunteer to come in. And everything from our manager down to the person who cleans the bathroom. They all chip in and volunteer. And you can apply to be a host of a show and fill out an application. And then they train you up on the board and teach you how to spin the records and play the music. And my show, Geekly Update, is more of a talk show. I wanted it to be sort of, there's sports talk, there's political talk, but I wanted it to be a geek talk. So we talk about movies, TV, board games, video games, comics, all different types of stuff.
Great.
A panel of us and sit around and talk about things, have some critical thought on it, and then have people from the community who really geek out on things and have them come in and tell us about it and learn from them.
That's great.
So obviously, in these community-oriented groups, CCTV, KMUZ, Heather and I are involved in Pinnacle, we all have, all of this is volunteer time. So how many years ago did KMUZ
About
open
4
up?
years ago. So they worked, there was a group that got together and put in the application, because it takes a lot to get the FCC license and the antenna. And the antenna is actually out of Turner. So that's where they were able to get, they started off as 88.5, had a low bandwidth, and it's just slowly grown to tons of volunteers. We have basically donation, pledge drives every couple months to try to keep it growing, and now we've got a wider bandwidth with 100.7, and so yeah, it's all the volunteers getting together and just taking it from one little thing to one expanded thing.
So was there ever a part of you that wanted to be on the radio before, and what kind of got you interested and involved with KMUZ?
Sure. Yeah, I started off with a journalism background actually in college, and actually video production, and that's why I got involved a little bit with some CCTV stuff, and I'd done some podcasting with movie critiques and things like that, and then we heard about KMUZ and heard, that's something cool. And so my wife and I actually put together a radio theater show. It's a post-apocalyptic comedy show. And we put it on KMUZ, and that was a lot of fun. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of editing, a lot of voice acting, writing the scripts and stuff like that. But I had a theater background in high school, and so kind of wanted to continue that.
Yes.
And this was a pretty cool way to kind of get on the radio, do that. And then we took a break and then came back, and I said, well, I want to do something live. Like I want to do, we had pre-recorded the radio theater show, and I wanted to see what live TV was like, actually sit behind the board and stuff. So we came up with the Geek Talk show.
Oh, that's great.
So that's kind of where it all kind of has evolved over time.
And you have a day job, right?
Yeah, so I do have an alter ego, and, and it's keep it pretty separate from this persona. But yeah, I'm an attorney during the day, Geek Talk host at night,
So-
or I guess Sunday afternoons.
How did you, you said you have a panel of people, so were those people you already knew, or they that you said, hey, I want to start this, will you join me? Or were they
Yeah.
people you met at KMUZ that kind of filtered onto your show? How did
It's kind of funny. It's been sort of, one guy was from the podcast I had done earlier. Another guy, David Duncan, works and has his own show on the radio. And it's one of these things where as I have people on, they kind of stick around because they enjoy talking about that and they want to be a part of it. We had one guy who came on, Austin Rich, who's helped us kind of further our podcast. He went back and archived a lot of our shows and stuff, and really appreciate it. And so it's just they hear about it, and then it sort of has kind of the Geek Nation has shown up to be a part of it. It's pretty
One
cool.
thing that I've seen that I know you guys do is when like a film comes out that might kind of fit into the Geekly Update format, you do outings with your group that goes to that. So what are those about?
Yeah, so we just kind of get a group together that wants to go see the film, and then hopefully those same people will want to come onto the show later on or call in, or we have a Facebook discussion page, and so join in on the discussion there. But just basically getting the community together and going out and seeing stuff, and I kind of like to try to come up with both popular movies, but maybe also movies that are showing at Salem Cinema, some more local films that people can go and see, and just get people engaged and talking there at the theater, but then also continue that discussion on the radio.
So this might be putting you on the spot, but do you have a favorite guest or a favorite subject, or what was it like? You just decided, oh wow,
Well,
that
Robert
was
was
the best
obviously.
one. Oh, what did you
most
talk about, Robert?
CET.
Oh, CET. Oh, okay.
So no, I mean that's the thing. Is like the nice thing is that we kind of pick a wide range of topics when it comes to geeking out on stuff, and so theater can be something that somebody really enjoys and is passionate about. To some of my favorite ones have been we had Karen Holman, who's a Willamette chemistry professor, and she came on and talked to us about her research and everything from what she did for her doctorate up to what she's currently doing, and it was pretty amazing to see people's passions and teach us a little bit, and that's what I love about shows like this and shows like that we have on the radio where you can bring people in and talk about things. I've met we had a steampunk artist on who happened to just as kind of an aside was on a reality TV show about steampunk, and so he came on and talked to us about that whole process, and which was really cool. And so the little stories that are out there in our community that you don't realize what people are doing. We've had authors, comic book artists, we've had or just as simple as people who enjoy, let's say, fantasy football or something, who come on and tell us about, hey, this is what I've done. So tons of stories in a lot of different places, and so that's what I've really enjoyed about the show.
Do you have like my niche is in the geekly world, my niche is comic books, or my niche is sci-fi movies?
Yeah,
or
what do you geek out on?
I geek out on movies. I'm probably more of a geek of all trades kind of guy. I do like books and movies are generally my thing. But one of the things I like to do on the show is explore things that I don't know a whole lot about and try to help people, understand. Maybe you don't play card games or you don't play this type of board game or something. Bring people on to explain and say, here's how you could get into it, and open it up, because sometimes it can be really daunting. There's this whole canon of history around Superman or around this or that I don't want to take the time. Well, here's the way that you could get involved, or let's boil it down to here's the essential things that you need to know to go and see this movie or go and do this thing. So it's been kind of fun to kind of bring on people that can explain things, teach people, and then also I like to have on people that have differing viewpoints. I mean, one of the things that can happen in this culture is I have my love and you have your love, and we're going to fight about it, and that's fine to some extent, but also be understanding that you may not like all the things I like, and I may not like all the things you like, and trying to get people to kind of see from the different perspectives and see, okay, now I understand why you like that, and it's not bad that you like that.
Yeah.
Now remind us again how to tune in
Sure.
to your show.
So
time.
we're on Sunday afternoons at 2:00, and you can tune in. Just dialing in on the radio dial 88.5 or 100.7. You can go online to kmuz.org, or you can go on your Apple iPhone app, tune in, and you can also go to old episodes on iTunes and go to geeklyupdate.com or geekly-update.com and get old episodes.
What do you guys have coming up in your episodes, maybe this week and next week?
So this next week's the big battle over Batman versus Superman.
Oh,
and so there's
yes,
gonna be,
I've heard a lot about this.
And then we're trying to start a book club type of discussion, and so we've picked a couple books, or at least one book, and we're going to hopefully do that every month, and so start to talk about some either books or graphic novels.
Great.
Great.
Tune in, Geekly Update on KMUZ, Sundays at 2.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome back to Cherry City Punch and our interview with Ben Krieger.
Yes.
Karina Lemons, or Lee from SCEF, unfortunately was not able to make it, so
Yeah, we have a last minute replacement, but we're so thankful that you're here to talk to us about the projects that you're working on.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, so you are a graphic novel designer.
I'm a writer.
Yeah.
I'm a graphic designer, and I'm also very proud to be a comic book publisher.
Oh, okay. See, I'm so green on all of this knowledge, so it's really good that you're here to educate me a little bit.
Sure.
So, and you have a current project that you're working on, right?
Yes, we're currently building up towards a Kickstarter for our next comic book, The Black Suit of Death,
Oh, wow.
which is a non-supernatural take on the Grim Reaper. It actually has a science fiction spin.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
No, this is not the first project you've worked on, though, right?
No, this is either 19, 20, or 21 of the comic books that
wow.
I've done. I can't exactly remember how many I've made so far, but
Is this kind of now? I think that with Kickstarter, it's actually enabling people to get their works out. When in the past, it was maybe a little bit more difficult.
yeah. When I first started in dabbling in entertainment when I was 19, when Black Suit of Death was actually first born, he was done as a no-budget film.
Oh, wow.
And it was very difficult. Everything was new. YouTube was in its infancy, and there was no such thing as crowdfunding. But so we weren't able to really build on that. And then my friends and I went separate ways. And a few years back, I got back together, talking to my friend Ed Ellsworth, who is a co-creator of The Black Suit of Death, saying, "Hey, you know that character we made about the Grim Reaper a few years ago, a few decades ago?" It would work really well with a comic book. Comic books, you don't have to worry so much about the budget. You know, you can actually put it in a setting that it deserves to be in.
Wow.
And
So how many years have you, from creating this character to now this crowdfunding project for the Black Suit of Death, how many years have you been, has this project been ruminating?
I believe he was created in 1998.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's been a long journey. We tried to make the film like a real low-budget indie film for about 5 years before just the challenges of life set us off in different ways. And then about 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago, I jumped into comic books, became a publisher, and I've been working on that for the past few years. And we did a prelude comic called The Black Suit of Death, Ides of March, which can actually be found on our store, whose website I'm totally going to forget. It's warriorinnkeeper.com/shop.
Perfect.
But most of my information is on Facebook. If you look up Warrior Innkeeper, you'll find me there.
Well, that's awesome. And is there how do they get in touch with the Kickstarter campaign?
The Kickstarter campaign, it launches on April 19th. And you can find that by going, now you can find information on it by going to fund.blacksuitofdeath.com. And right there, we're using that to do all our pre-Kickstarter work. And someone forgot to turn their phone on. And right now we are doing a thing called Thunderclap It, which is where we're asking about 100 people to sign up for this. And you sign up, and on the launch day, Thunderclap It actually posts a message about our Kickstarter on everyone that's signed up. So instead of just posting on your Facebook and Twitter, it posts on these 100 people's pages, and instead of reaching a couple thousand, you reach tens of thousands of people.
Wow.
So Thunderclap is a pretty cool thing too.
All right, check it out on Kickstarter, Black Suit of Death.
Yes,
Good
thank
luck.
you so much
Yeah.
for joining
Well,
us
thank you.
today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome. Here we are with Tristan Wynn, a student at Sprague High School, and we're going to be talking about what he loves to do is forging, blacksmithing, making knives. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to get into this?
What inspired me to get into blacksmithing was I really like a series of video games, which is the Legend of Zelda series. And when I was a little kid, me and my dad, we went to the shop at our house and started making a knife. And I've been using them for a few years, and it just kind of caught on that if I wanted something good, then I'd kind of have to start making them myself.
Yeah. Now, why don't be sure to hold that up so that people can see. So this is just kind of an example of the work that you've done. Where do you start? Do you start with making the metal piece first, and then adding the wooden aspect of it?
What I usually like to start with is I start with the blade and however that's going to want to turn out. It's like, it's all kind of casual. I like to pretend that it has a mind of its own, so it kind of just forms whatever it wants to. And then once the blade gets worked out, then I take it down and I start forming a handle for it.
Oh, wow. Okay, so are there different types of knives here? I take it, do you want to talk just a little bit about the different types that you have here?
All right. This is a throwing knife style knife.
Oh, okay.
So it's more back weighted so that it, when you throw it, the point stays forward. And then these two knives are they can be described as karambits. So well, my mom described it as a grape cutter. Which was
Okay.
kind of fun.
Now, where did you learn the majority about knife making from your dad, or from just gathering information from all over? Where did you?
My dad helped me a lot with figuring out how to make some swords. He helped me with my first few swords, and then I kind of just took it from there. But I'm mostly just self-taught, and I make mistakes,
it.
and I learn from them, and that's how I love to do it.
Yes.
So how many years have you been doing the knife making?
I have been blacksmithing since last July.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my goodness, I'm amazed because those are just so unique, and I love what you said about the fact that it's something that you feel like takes a life of its own, because you can definitely see just the unique shapes, especially with the wood. Like, hold up this one right here towards the middle there. I just love the piece of wood that's chosen there, and I love how the metal and everything just kind of flows together. So that's really cool.
Actually, this one has kind of an interesting story. My dog brought me a piece of deer antler. So it's a little bit of a memory to my dog Shadow.
Oh, that's cool.
And do you build the display? You've got them displayed there on some pieces of wood. So is that something you built specifically to showcase the knives?
Yes. I was hoping that I could work at one of the Comic-Cons starting to sell knives and things like that, because I feel like a lot of people there would appreciate the artwork that goes into it.
Now, at school, do you take art classes or any type of, at your high school?
Yeah, I just started in a Jeweling 1 in my high school, which it's a really amazing experience. It helps me learn about forming different types of metals and how they can all work together.
Oh, wow. So I bet that's just perfect, and as far as like what you're doing. So that's.
Can you talk about how long maybe those knives it took you to make from concept to final product?
All right. This is my latest knife that I've been working on, and I was designing it for a family friend of mine, and so far it's taken me about 5-6 hours forging out the blade and everything, and then I started working on the handles just a few days ago.
Wow. I love it. Like I said, I love how unique it is. I just love how creative. It's just really impressive, especially at your age.
So if somebody wanted to know more about your knives and what you're doing, where can we send them for information?
If you would like to know more about my blacksmithing business, you can go to facebook.com/fluidforgeblacksmithing and shoot me an email at tristanwen@me.com.
Great.
Excellent. All right.
Well, thanks so
good
much
luck
for
at the
being on our
Comic-Cons.
show.
Thank you, and nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Thanks so much.
To all our viewers watching from the control room and the studio lobby, welcome, and to another edition of Isaac's Corner. People keep giving me advice on what to say and what they would do if they had this segment and what they think is funny, and I always tell them to mind their own business because I don't do this for them. I do this because Robert makes me. But I'm starting to run out of things to say about Robert and Heather. Well, at least getting bored of talking about them. So I thought this week I'd try something different and take on a less easy target. And there's one that really springs to mind, because there is no group more reviled, more resented, or to whom more insults are directed at from backstage than the audience. Now I know that Heather is back there right now shaking in her boots, worrying that I'm going to offend our audience, but rest assured, Heather, it's fine, we don't have an audience. So, but I don't want to be a destructive force, not purely. So I thought I'd frame this in a way that gives prospective audience members some tips on how they could be better. The first thing you need to know is that acting is boring. Everybody hates doing it, and it is your job as an audience member to entertain the actor, okay? That's a very important thing that you need to understand. And my first tip is make some noise. Crinkle paper, whisper loudly, forget your hearing aid, and have your equally deaf spouse repeat every line that the actors say into your ear. at full voice. If you recognize one of the actors or find them attractive, don't wait till after the show to go up into to say that to them in the lobby. That's creepy. Just say it. Say it as it crosses your mind. Make yourself at home. That is my second tip. Say whatever thought crosses your mind. Laugh, swear, spit. If you want to pee, get up and do it. Why should you care that the other audience members might be disturbed by you running up the aisles? Well, I shouldn't say running, but walking slowly and loudly past actors who are also using those aisles. That's fine. If you have to pee, do it. And most of all, the mark of a good audience member is the same as that of a good actor. Be in the moment. Let go of your inhibitions. Be free. Leave your phone on. And when it rings, don't reach for it and in a panic and it's like, oh no. Just savor that moment of hundreds of people uniting in hatred against you. Just soak that in. And actors love it. The biggest compliment that you can give an actor, more than roses or a standing ovation, if you're really feeling it, get on stage with them. It's not scary at all. It's not at all off-putting. They love it. And if you do all of these things, you will give actors the thing that they love the most, something to complain about. Thank you. This has been Isaac's Corner, and now for some pre-scheduled banter.
What a week, Heather. This
What a
has been here
show.
on
Oh my
Cherry City
goodness.
Punch. So, Geekly Update on KMUZ is Sundays at 2.
Jason
We're going to
Rainey?
actually go on that show, do some
Yes.
cross-promotion.
We're so excited.
I feel like the interview we had with Ben and the comic
Yes.
book, who knew that there was a underground comic book
Scene.
community in Salem. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's exciting.
What was the name of that?
Tristan Wynn, too,
Yeah.
just now with all of his knives. It was just exciting to see
Well-
a young guy so excited about something.
And the fact that there's a jeweling class at Sprague is pretty amazing. I had
I
no
know.
idea that there was a jewelry making class. I feel like Isaac kind of came around this week
know,
with his corner. It was better.
It was better.
It's getting there.
He's been working hard. We had an offline discussion with him that maybe someday we'll share with you, our one audience
Yeah,
member.
there's a bonus episode that's kind of come, and it's basically, we like to call it Isaac's intervention.
Yes, yes.
And
So
I think that helped in getting to a better place for this week's Isaac Corner.
I know that there was a lot of things that came out during
Mm-hmm.
that. So that will probably end up on our Facebook page.
But,
so
you know, I'm going to still encourage people, send us your submission videos for your
audition.
corner on our show, and,
Yeah.
and then we're just going to show them to Isaac and show him what real talent actually is, that's out there,
Yeah.
that is.
He needs to
and
know.
and if he, maybe that will threaten him into doing a better job every week
Yeah.
rather than doing, he's basically at 15% right
Yeah,
now, 1
if-
out of 5.
Now,
Danny, you didn't start the toggle.
enough about Isaac.
Yeah.
Start the toggle.
If you're interested in being on our show, please email us at cherrycitypunch@gmail.com.
Like us on Facebook.
Like us on Facebook. We also have, you can follow us on Instagram. We're going to get Isaac to maybe set up a Snapchat or Tinder account for us.
And what's coming up next week?
Next week, well, we are going to have a great show for you. We are also going to be opening a little musical I like to call You're in Town the Musical.
We are. So we'll have
Yes.
Katie Lindbeck.
spittoon.
We're going to have Katie Lindbeck from Urinetown.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have Carol Smith, who is running for mayor of Salem. So we're going to
Yes.
get a little political on our next
Oh,
episode.
yes. We're gonna
Because
get political.
Urinetown has a political bent to it as well. So join us next time on Cherry City Punch.
Thanks to our sponsors, Wandering Angus and Anthem Cider.
Have a great week.